Alright, what's up everybody? It's your boy Akeem and welcome to the Football Source College Football Blog. Here to talk about week 2 of this season. This is going to be an interesting week because there's not that many marquee matchups I'm going to talk about for this particular blog. There's only 5 games I'm going to talk about in this blog because most of these teams, the top teams in this week, they're playing against FCS opponents or weaker opponents, and I don't really think they're going to be big games for you guys to look at this week. For this blog, I'm only going to talk about 5 games. Starting with number 14, USC is going to be traveling to Stanford to play the number 13 ranked team in the nation, the Stanford Cardinals. This is going to be a great matchup between a good offense from USC against a great defense for the Stanford Cardinals. Even though the Cardinals lost a lot of key players like Shane Sko and Trent Murphy, as well as Ed Reynolds, they still have a great defense who held UC Davis to 0 points. A big goose egg, winning big 45-0 last week. But for USC, they had a great season opener against Fresno State in which they crushed the Bulldogs 52-13. Now they had 701 total yards of offense and led by quarterback Cody Kessler, who passed for just under 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. Now the key matchup in this game is going to be against that defensive line of USC against the offensive line of Stanford. The defensive line is led by Leonard Williams for USC, and Stanford's led by an anchor in the offensive line by Andrus Peat. That's going to be an outstanding matchup for you guys to watch this upcoming week. Now for this game, I'm going to have to go with USC in this one. I'm starting to have a little bit of faith in that Trojan offense getting back into great tempo. Now Javarius Allen rushed for over 100 yards last week against Fresno State. He's looking to do the same against this tough Stanford defense. Hopefully the offensive passing game led by Cody Kessler could work well, and to help balance that offense to work, a combined good rushing and throwing the football against the Stanford Cardinal defense. And I believe that Stanford's going to have to depend more on passing the football. So Keith Holding's going to have to get his passing together, and as well, he's this good, decent, mobile quarterback, but he still needs to work on staying within the pocket, trusting his O-line, and throwing the football. I think that USC is going to stop Barry Sanders in the ground attack for the Stanford Cardinals. So I'm going to have to go with the Trojans over Stanford. Next game, East Carolina is going to be traveling to number 21 South Carolina. Now last week, Texas A&M quarterback Kenny Hill exposed that South Carolina defense, and East Carolina has a great quarterback in Shane Carter, who's actually one of my prospects I'm going to be looking for the 2015 NFL Draft. Now last week against North Carolina Central, he just passed for just under 300 yards and 3 TDs, but I still think because of that defense, that South Carolina defense, who has a lot of question marks, I'm going to have to go with East Carolina over South Carolina as my upset game of the week, my biggest upset game of the week. But the one thing that the Pirates is going to have a need for this particular matchup is for both freshman running back Marquise Grayson and Anthony Scott to do well in running the football to balance that offense, pretty much just like what Texas A&M did last week in that blowout victory 52-28 at South Carolina. Now I believe that Shane Carter is going to do well throwing the football, but they're going to have to balance everything out with running the football, and these 2 freshmen is going to have to step up this week. But I'm still going to go with East Carolina as my upset game of the week. Next game is going to be another upset for you guys. Number 16 Notre Dame is going to be hosting Michigan. Now Michigan had a great game last week in their season opener against FCS opponent Appalachian State. Now Devin Funtress, he was actually a tight end who converted to wide receiver, and he caught 3 touchdown passes from quarterback Devin Gardner. But one thing I did like about this Michigan offense is that their running game looked like there's a little bit coming into par here. And even though they played against a weaker opponent, both Derek Green and Devion Smith rushed for over 100 yards, couple TDs rushing for these 2 running backs. I think this is going to be a great game against a Notre Dame Fighting Irish who has such a great emergence in quarterback Everson Golston. He was out. Remember him? He was out to be all of last season due to academic problems, but he's back this year. He was actually accounted for 5 touchdowns in a big win over Rice. But even though they had a big win over Rice at home, they still gave up 367 yards of total offense against the Owls. And I think that I believe that because of Michigan has a better offense, I have to go with Michigan over Notre Dame to pull off this upset. So I have to go with the Wolverines. Next game is another upset alert. Virginia Tech is going to be traveling to Columbus to face the number 8 Ohio State. Now, last week, quarterback J.T. Barrett for the Buckeyes passed for 226 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Has kind of struggled a little bit against the Navy midshipmen last week in Baltimore. Now, this was a little bit of a concern for me because he's going to be playing against a tougher defense from Tech. But I'm still going to go with the Buckeyes in this one because they have the home field advantage. This is their home opener. And even though Virginia Tech's defense is going to give Barrett a little bit of a hard time, I think that Ohio State's defense is going to step up in this one and help out the offense and pull off a close victory over the Hokies. And last but not least, Memphis is going to be traveling to UCLA to face the Bruins. Now, why did I mention this game? It's because last week, the Memphis Tigers crushed Austin, PA 63-0. And last week, at Virginia, the offense for UCLA struggled a lot, and the defense had to pick up the pieces to pull off the escape against the Cavaliers. And this could be a little bit of an upset, but I still think that the offense still has a great quarterback in Brett Hundley, and I think they're going to get into rhythm in this matchup. This should be an easy win. Even though I said that last week against the Cavaliers, I still think this should be another easy win for the Bruins, and this should be a great win. I think they could win by at least 20 points in this matchup. So I'm going to go with the Bruins in this game. Now, I still have one more blog to talk about, one particular game, my game of the week, and I'll see you guys in just a couple of hours. I'll upload my game of the week just in a couple of hours. Thank you for watching this blog. I'm your man, Akeem McCall from the Football Source. Be easy.